Hi guys, my name is Srjan. I am UiPath's MVP for 2024, and I'm quickly going to go over with integrating UiPath and Google Sheets and how we can use that in our automation. Okay, so first let's go into our UiPath orchestrator. There we can see that we have integration service. So in short, integration service is a UiPath service that will allow us to connect to our third-party applications. So let's go there, click it, and you will see three tabs. So connections, connectors, and triggers. In connectors, you can see all the connectors that you have that are pre-built by UiPath that you can use in order to integrate third-party applications to your automations. You can, of course, build your automation as well. In connections, you can see all the connections that we can use in our automation. So in our case, I'm going to show you a sample on integrating Google Sheets. And on triggers, that is a topic that we're going to cover next time. But in here, you can basically create triggers based on your connections in order to start your automations. Okay, so let's go on to connections. You can see that I have my Google account connected. Let's remove this and let's create it from scratch. So you'd go to add connections, you would search for Google, you'd click on Google Sheets. You can see how many Google connections we have. The prompt will guide you to your Google account. If you're logged in, you can just select it, enable authentication, and that's it. You have given authorization to UiPath, and now UiPath is going to handle all the authorizations and authentications for us. So now that we have created that, we can go to UiPath Studio. I have created a simple workflow, nothing special. And the first thing that we need to do is to add in packages for Google Suite, right? So go to Manage Packages, go to All Packages, search for UiPath G Suite. So you can see that I have already installed that packages. You may install it. It may be on some other version, but I have the newest one installed. So I'm going to skip that part. And then in activities, if we type in Google, we can see that there are so many Google activities. So there are activities for Google Calendar, for Google Drive, for Sheets. We're not going to use these. And there are also additional activities in here. So the packages or the activities that we are going to use in this automation are in here. So drag and drop, use Google Spreadsheet. In this activity, if we go to the properties, we can see that we can enable integration services. So click on that. This will enable us, and this will basically pull the data from integration service about the accounts that we have integrated, the accounts that we have connected. And you can see that my email is there. So my account is there. And we don't need to touch anything else. So we don't need authentication and we don't need the file ID, at least not for now. So the other property is the action. So if we want to use existing, create new, or create if the file doesn't exist, we're going to select the use existing because we want to use the existing file. After that, we have two types of finding the file. We can browse for it, or we can enter the ID. I always prefer entering the ID because this will enable us to create reusable components. So in later videos, I will show you how I created the reusable component for this, which I'm passing the argument for entity ID, right? So I'm passing through the argument, and the argument is in string format. So that is exactly what we are going to use. And how would you find the entity ID? It is pretty simple. If we go back to, if we go back to our, so this is the file that we want to use. And if we open that file, you can see that these are the information about the clients that I want to extract. This is a really simple file. And the entity ID is this ID right here. So the file name doesn't have much impact on our automation, but the entity ID does. And this is the information that we need to give UiPath in order to connect to the file. So we're going to go here. We're going to place that value in here. And we can reference this. So this information doesn't have to be the same as the name of the file, but because of clarity, we're going to reference it as the same. So client name, right? or client list in this case, client list, and that's it. So we have configured our Google spreadsheet in order to use the file that we want to. So in this use case, we're just going to show a simple read range. So drag and drop read range activity. We need to reference the spreadsheet that we are working with. So you can just reference the client list, and you can see the error is going to disappear. You need to specify the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is basically the tab. I like to call them tab because if this is a Google Sheet, then this would be a tab. So this is the tab that we want to work with, so client. And if we create a new one, you can see that the ID is the same, so the ID doesn't change, but we will have to specify a new sheet information. And now the range. So what is really cool about these activities is that unlike read Excel activities, we don't have to specify the less index, right? So we know that there are only 4 entities and 5 rows with headers, and we're going to specify our bot to read from A1 till B. And the bot will be smart enough to stop reading after 5 rows, right? And then we need to create some variables. So UiPath has variable that we can access, so we wouldn't have to create it, but let's create it just because of us. So let's call it DT client list table, right? Let's follow some naming conventions, and let's log all the information that we have. So we want to log how many clients, so total number of clients in our G sheet, right? And we're going to count how many rows there are. So yeah, this is our workflow. It is pretty simple. It is just how to connect to Google Sheet. And let's run it. And you will see in the output that it will say 4 because the first row is our header, and we have specified that the table has headers, right? So total number of clients in our Google Sheet is 4. Yeah, okay, so that's it. A really simple way of connecting your automation to Google Sheets. I hope that this helps, and until the next time, happy automation.